Have you ever stopped to think about what really happens when you click login, or when you notice that little padlock in your browser? What's actually protecting your passwords, your payments, your private messages? If you've ever been curious about the invisible shield behind the internet, this conversation is for you. Welcome to Bluehat Cybersec Academy. Today, we're diving into the foundations of cryptography and public key infrastructure. Not just definitions, not just theory, but how it works, why it matters, and how you can apply it in real-world environments. So let's build this from the ground up, together. Take a moment and think about this. Every time you log into your bank account, send a private message, or enter your credit card on a website, you're relying on cryptography. It works silently in the background, protecting your data, verifying identities, and building digital trust. At its core, cryptography transforms readable information into a protected format, so only authorized people can access it. It delivers 4 essential guarantees. Confidentiality. Only the intended recipient can read the data. Integrity. The data hasn't been altered. Authentication. You know exactly who you're communicating with. Non-repudiation. Someone cannot deny sending a message. Without these 4 pillars, digital trust collapses. Think about secure websites, mobile banking, VPN connections, secure messaging apps, digital contracts, software updates. All of them depend on cryptography. A cipher is a mathematical algorithm that transforms readable data, plain text, into unreadable data, ciphertext. Encryption converts plain text into ciphertext. Decryption reverses it. Simple idea, massive impact. And there are 2 major types you need to understand. In symmetric encryption, the same key is used to encrypt and decrypt data. Just one key, really. It's shared securely between both parties. A widely used example is the Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES. Here's what that looks like in practice. Step 1. A secret key is generated. Step 2. Data is encrypted using AES. Step 3. The encrypted data is sent. Step 4. The recipient uses the same key to decrypt it. This method is extremely fast and efficient. That's why it's used in disk encryption systems like BitLocker and FileVault, database encryption, VPN tunnels, and secure file storage. But here's the challenge. How do you securely share that secret key in the first place? Asymmetric cryptography solves the key sharing problem by using 2 keys: a public key, which can be shared openly, and a private key, which must always remain secret. If someone encrypts a message with your public key, only your private key can decrypt it. 2 major algorithms in this space are RSA and elliptic curve cryptography, also known as ECC. Here's a real-world scenario. You publish your public key, someone encrypts a message using it, and you decrypt it using your private key. Now, secure communication becomes possible without ever sharing your private key. And this same mechanism enables digital signatures. A cryptographic key is simply a string of bits, but its length and randomness determine its strength. For example, 128-bit keys are secure for most applications, while 256-bit keys provide stronger long-term protection. Weak or short keys make brute force attacks easier. The longer and more random the key, the harder it is to crack. Let's walk step by step through what happens behind the scenes. So you type an HTTPS URL, and then your browser connects to the server. The server sends its digital certificate, and your browser verifies that certificate. Next, a symmetric session key is generated. That session key is encrypted using the server's public key. After that, secure communication begins using symmetric encryption. Notice the hybrid model here. Asymmetric cryptography handles secure key exchange, while symmetric cryptography handles fast data transmission. This combination gives us both security and performance. Hashing is not encryption. A hash function takes data of any size and produces a fixed-length output. A commonly used algorithm is SHA-256. Hash functions are one-way. You cannot reverse them. They're deterministic. The same input produces the same output, and they're sensitive to change. Even a tiny modification creates a completely different hash. Hashing is used in password storage, file integrity checks, blockchain systems, and software distribution. Never store plain text passwords. Instead, here's what you should do. The user creates a password, then the system generates a random salt. The password and salt are combined, and the result is hashed. Only the hash is stored. When the user logs in, the process repeats and hashes are compared. Even if a database is breached, attackers don't get usable passwords. Digital signatures combine hashing and asymmetric cryptography. So, here's the signing process. First, you create a hash of the document. Next, you encrypt that hash using your private key. Then, you attach the encrypted hash as the signature. Now, verification works like this. You decrypt the signature using the sender's public key, generate a new hash of the document, and compare both hashes. If they match, the document hasn't changed, and the sender is authentic. Digital signatures actually protect software updates, legal contracts, secure email, and code signing processes. So, how do we trust public keys globally? That's where Public Key Infrastructure, or PKI, comes in. PKI manages digital certificates, certificate authorities, and key lifecycle processes. A digital certificate binds together a public key and identity, such as a domain or organization, and a digital signature from a trusted certificate authority. When you visit a secure website, your browser checks if the certificate was issued by a trusted authority such as DigiCert or Let's Encrypt. If the authority is trusted, the connection proceeds securely. So, here's how trust is established, step by step. First, an organization generates a key pair. Then, it creates a certificate signing request, or CSR. After that, a certificate authority steps in to verify the organization's identity. Once everything checks out, the CA signs the certificate. The certificate is then installed on the server. Now, browsers validate it against trusted root certificates. This whole process forms the chain of trust that, honestly, enables global e-commerce and secure communication. Public Key Infrastructure, or PKI, is everywhere. In banking, it secures financial transactions. In healthcare, it protects patient data. Governments use it for digital identity systems. In enterprise IT, it handles VPN and Wi-Fi authentication. And in DevOps, PKI secures CI/CD pipelines and code signing. Basically, every large-scale secure ecosystem out there depends on PKI. All right, let's talk about some practical security tips you can use. First, always use a password manager. Enable multi-factor authentication whenever possible. Make sure you check for HTTPS before entering your credentials. And seriously, never reuse passwords. So, let's talk about some practical security tips for organizations. First, it's super important to use at least 2048-bit RSA keys. And, if performance is a big deal, it's better to prefer ECC. Also, make sure to rotate certificates regularly and, always keep an eye on expiration dates. Protect your private keys by using hardware security modules, or HSMs. Remember, small security habits really do prevent massive breaches. Common cryptographic mistakes to avoid include using outdated algorithms like MD5 or SHA-1, hard-coding keys into source code, and emailing private keys. Another issue is ignoring certificate expiration or storing unsalted password hashes. Most failures, honestly, happen due to poor implementation, not broken math. The future of cryptography is all about preparing for what's next. Post-quantum cryptography is emerging, and zero-trust architectures are becoming standard. Hardware-backed key protection is expanding, and blockchain-based cryptographic systems are evolving. As quantum computing develops, algorithms like RSA may eventually need replacement. The field, continues to adapt. Now let me challenge you. Why is symmetric encryption faster than asymmetric encryption? Why do we combine both in HTTPS? What would happen if a certificate authority's private key were compromised? Why is hashing not considered encryption? Can you explain the chain of trust in your own words? Pause the video, think about it, and drop your answers in the comments. And here's your practical challenge for this week. Are your certificates up to date? Are you using any deprecated algorithms? Are your private keys properly protected? Let us know what you discover. And tell us, what should we break down next? Post-quantum cryptography, zero-trust architecture? a hands-on SSL/TLS lab, or maybe building your own internal PKI. Thanks for watching Bluehat Cybersec Academy. If this video added value to your day, give it a like, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe for more practical networking and cybersecurity content from Bluehat Cybersec Academy. Drop a comment. We'd love to hear how you're applying these concepts in your own environment. See you next time. Stay curious, stay secure, and keep building networks that actually work.